y'all good lookins. Welcome to Tangled in Tennessee. I'm your host, Vanessa LePepion, and I'm here for you on Tuesdays. So, here we deep dive into haunting, mysterious, and downright chilling tales into Tennessee's past. So, if you like true crime, history, mystery, country music, and Appalachian folktale, you might want to like and subscribe to my channel or listen to me on Spotify so you don't miss a single episode. So today's story is my backup story. I actually was researching for the past week about it's a horrible true crime story. I mean, what true crime isn't horrible? But it was about a little girl and she went missing selling Girl Scout cookies. And I really wanted to take my time researching it more than I had this week. My son had a formal last week, and then this weekend he's going to his friend or her formal. So my backup story still is pretty cool. And it's actually a place I have been to before and I will never go back because it freaked me out, y'all. But we're going to talk about the history of Black Cat Cave in Rutherford County. So we're going to deep dive into the shadowy, eerie past and historic tales of Black Cat Cave in Rutherford County. So this isn't just some old cave. It is a place where bootleggers like moonshiners would hide, where teenagers, children, they dare to go to get like a scare, them scary stories, like I double dog dare you type of things. And it is where ancient mysteries laid buried for thousands of years and nobody knew until a bulldozer accidentally unearthed something that was completely unexpected. So grab your flashlights and step carefully and keep your ears open because the echoes of Black Cat Cave are calling. So the legend and the lore of Black Cat Cave. Black Cat Cave, there we go. Black Cat Cave sits nestled in the woods just outside of Murfreesboro. It's actually not far from a subdivision, but like I said, it looks like a culvert. If you don't know, that's what it looks like. So to the average passerby, it might look even like a crack in a rock or it's off the hidden path. But it has been there for generations and it was a magnet for so many stories. The name alone, Black Cat Cave, has its own lore. Sometimes it's said that it came from a black panther that used to walk around. Some claim that it was from like a very bold house cat that used to scare the kids half to death. Others say that it was a nod to witchy vibes that used to be going on out there, like symbolism. It has a lot of reasons of where they think the name came from, but either way, it's stuck. In the 1930s and 40s, it became a spot for teenagers looking for a thrill. And when I looked a little further, I seen that this actually extended up until the 70s. Like they would close it off and teenagers, don't listen. They go up in there. Young adults don't listen, go up in there. The local legends claim that it was haunted. They would hear whispers of voices, glowing lights deep inside the cave, strange smells, sudden unexplained chills, the typical ghost stories. One boy even reported that he came running out in the 1950s saying that he seen a face staring back at him in the rock wall. When I heard that, I thought of like on Pirates of the Caribbean where like that face came out of the Black Pearl. It was like Will Turner's dad. Yeah, that's what came to my head when I read that. But the cave, the Black Cat Cave, isn't just a spooky hangout spot. It actually has a very deep, dark layer that nobody expected. And it was truthful. So during the Prohibition years, when alcohol was illegal, certainly not unwanted, the caves like Black Cat Cave became a gold mine for moonshiners because its hidden location and deep interior made it very like a good place to brew and make moonshine, hide stills. It also was a good place to stash illegal liquor without being as noticed. Folks in Rutherford County say that you could sometimes hear the clinking of bottles echoing when you really stood quiet and listened. There were also whispers that there was illegal gambling, dating, they even had reports of disappearances. A man named Harold J., that was his name, Harold J., was last seen heading toward the cave in 1947. His body was never found. Some say that he could have fell into the lower chambers of the cave because there are parts in caves that we've not even begun to discover, and that's what they think could have happened to him. Others say that he stumbled onto something paranormal. He's seen something that he shouldn't have. you don't know. Something happened in the cave and he was gone. And here's where things get even more tangled. Some locals believe a small time crime group used the cave for a backwoods dealings with silent justice. If you get what I'm saying, it's where they dump people. That's what they're trying to say nicely. But they say that it was used for that, the you don't ask questions type of deal. So the historic find. So many years this cave was used and shut off from the public. But in 2014, construction crews were expanding the road as they do. And near the entrance of the cave, it was supposed to be just typical routine work. They were digging a little bit, pouring some concrete, fixing the road, expanding the road, and they were going to move on. But then boom, one bulldozer pulled up bones, not animal bones, but human remains, and not recent. The area was immediately shut down. Middle Tennessee State Archaeological Team stepped in and began to discover where these bones came from. What they found would change everything. A radiocarbon dating showed that the remains were over 5,000 years old, older than the pyramids in Egypt. The bones belonged to a young Native American man, and he was buried carefully. It suggested that it was like a ceremony practice and that he wasn't just dumped off, in the ground, or that it was like a sacrificial thing, but he was preserved and it was like a ceremony place, which is nice. I mean, they didn't just dump him off. Further discoveries revealed that there were carved wood and stone tools. They found beads that were made of shell. Ancient habitation was going on within this cave. Black Cat Cave wasn't just a folklore, it had a lot of history to it that was just recently discovered. It wasn't just folklore, it was fact. It was a prehistoric cultural site, and it had been used long before bootleggers with their moonshine, teenagers doing what teenagers do. It had been used for thousands of years. The bones were later removed from the area and respectfully put in another ceremony with a local tribe representatives. They took the body. But this is what I hate about when they find things like this, they don't keep them where they're at. And I get they want to make sure that they're preserved, but I just feel like they're digging up some spirits that we don't want to know about. Because when y'all go to Black Cat Cave, if y'all ever want to feel it. It's just as eerie. And this is before I knew anything about it. It just doesn't feel like a place that's happy. So we'll be right back after this short break. So don't go too far. And when we return, we'll deep dive into the strange sightings that still happen at Black Cat Cave till this day, and why some say that spirits were disturbed by digging up the bones and that they should have left them there. Voice style. Thanks for Ariat for working with me on this video. And now back to the show, guys. Since the research dig, strange reportings around Black Cat Cave only increased. Hikers and explorers say that their compasses will spin wildly near the entrance. Now, I completely believe that one. Some claim that they hear drums, chanting, sudden footsteps when no one was around, and I swear I heard that when I was there. And that's why I wanted to leave. One paranormal group reported that their EVPs were capturing muffled whispers in languages that they couldn't identify. And remember that local legend about the faces in the wall? Multiple visitors over the years have described the same thing, a human-like image carved or burned into the rock deep in the cave. Archaeologists say that it is just our brains finding patterns and shadows, and that's not really there. But what if it isn't? Okay, there are tales of people seeing tall figures at twilight, always in the tree lines, not really being threatening, but it's watching and observing. Others believe that the cave is protected by spirits that were disturbed during the exhibition. Others believe that it is a thin place where the past leaks into the present. So my final thoughts is, what is Black Cat Cave really? It's a place where Vanessa ain't going again. I can tell you that. But is it just a teenager's dare? Was it a moonshiner's hangout, a burial ground, sacred site? maybe it's all of it. And honestly, it is. I mean, come on, it's all of it. It's a place that reminds us that Tennessee is not just roads and cities, but beneath our feet, it is wrapped in roots and stones and stories that are too old to even name, and they can appear even in recent years. 2014 wasn't that long ago. Black Cat Cave keeps its secrets. But every now and then one slips out. Maybe it's a whisper from the dark. Maybe it's bones underneath the bulldozer. Maybe it's the echo of drums that nobody hears. So in 2015, they officially shut off Black Cat Cave. You cannot go in it. Inside the cave, they have it barricaded and all. There's steel bars, but just standing outside of it, why would you want to go in? I'm not that adventurous. I'm a little adventurous, but not like that. It's just an eerie place to go. But anyway, thanks for wandering with me today in the shadows of Black Cat Cave. If you like this episode, leave a review. Tell me your thoughts. Have you been here? Maybe share this story with a friend. So keep a curious heart, stay wild, and until next time, I'm Vanessa LaPepion, and it has been fun getting tangled in Tennessee with you, where the past is just a little haunting. And like I said, be sure to tune in next week where we hear the case of, it's a terrible case, terrible story of a 9-year-old that vanished while he was selling Girl Scout cookies. So yeah, tune in next week if that is something you would be interested in listening to. But until then, stay curious, stay safe, and brush them tangles out of your hair, girl. And I'm telling you, I would bypass seeing Black Cat Cave. Just saying. All right, bye, y'all.